Hi guys, hi, how's it going? How y'all doing today? Hopefully today finds you well. Today, as you see by the title, we are doing a get ready with me, just life update, just telling you about all the things because I do know that I've been kind of MIA over the last, several weeks. One video here, one video there. I had my birthday, friends in town, my mom in town. Things like that going on, but there's a lot going on, and I want to tell you guys all about it, so I hope that you're here for it. For those of you new here, hi, my name is Donna. I'm a lover of all the things high-end, colorful beauty and self-care. Ultimately, this that I do here, my channel is all about curbing my anxiety. It is how I soothe my soul, and that's what I want to make it for you. I hope that my channel brings you joy as much as it brings me, and I hope it soothes your soul, and I hope that you want to be a part of it, and I hope that you'll subscribe before you go. I'm kind of a kick in the pants to hang out with. That is my claim to fame right now. And if you do subscribe, please don't forget to hit your girl up down in the comment section, because I still comment back to every single one of the comments made on my channel. Been kind of a roller coaster lately with me being able to do that, but I promise you, I do get back to every single person, whether it's been a week or a couple days or a couple weeks for that matter. So I can't wait to tell you guys all about what's been going on in my life lately. So I'm just gonna jump in. This is the look that we're doing today. If you want to see how that's done, just keep on watching. Hi. Long time no see. I'm sure all of you have been wondering, what the heck happened to Donna? So I wanted to do a get ready with me and talk to you. Let's just do a life update. Let's just do that. How's that sound? So today is not really about the makeup, so I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of talking about the makeup. I just want to have a good old-fashioned get ready with me, doing my makeup and talking to you guys. I feel like it's been a long time, because it has been a long time. And let's just do the thing. Let's just do the thing. So I haven't really done any kind of skin prep or anything like that. And I have somewhere to be in an hour and a half. So we're going to try and breeze right through this. We'll do something simple on my eyes, which, hey, you guys are getting a treat. That never freaking happens. Usually when I come out here on video, it's something wild and crazy, and today it's just not gonna be. So I just use my Clinique Step 2. It is something that I use every single day before I do my makeup. It is a clarifying lotion is what it's called, but I feel like it just really does a good job of exfoliating my skin. And if you all are familiar with my channel, you know I also feel like it does something to my skin to make the makeup lay on it better. My makeup just always looks better when I'm using it. I am also using this Professional Hydra Pop by Benefit. I did get this on their website. I don't think I've ever seen it in stores. I could be wrong on that, because I'm not in stores a whole hell of a lot lately, because I'm on a no-buy and because I no longer work for Ulta. But this is a hydrating and smoothing essence, and I like putting it on after I put on that clarifying lotion, just to kind of put the hydration back in my face, because I feel like the exfoliating lotion kind of, takes a lot out of it. Not a lot. I also use the Lancome Renergie. This is an HCA triple serum. I have to be honest with you, I don't know that this does a whole heck of a lot, and it's a dang expensive product, and I got it in gratis, so I'm using it because I have it, not because I think it does something spectacular. But I always am using some kind of serum in the morning, and then also a serum in my evening skincare as well, or two. I currently am also using like a vitamin C serum by Drunk Elephant. So I'm using that HCA, which HCG, whatever that is. I don't know if I should be using a vitamin C as well. Totally overdosing my skin. It has hyaluronic acid, C plus niacinamide, and ferulic acid. So I am overdosing my skin on vitamin C by using that. So we're going to skip the drunk elephant today. That's what we're going to do. I usually wait a little bit to put a primer on, but I do put a moisturizer on. This is the Dermalogica Stabilizing Repair Cream. It's a barrier repairing moisturizer. It is kind of thick, so I don't use a whole lot of it, honestly. Otherwise, it feels some sort of way on my face. But I usually put that on and let it sit while I do my eye makeup. So by the time I'm putting a primer on my face, it's good and soaked in. And I don't feel like my primer has to double duty as a moisturizer and a primer, because I'm trying really hard to get out of the habit of need to have a moisturizing primer in my collection. Like if I'm using a moisturizer all the time, there's really not a reason to have a moisturizing primer, but I have really dry skin, so I happen to think that I need a moisturizing primer. That said, I think that I am going to use this palette for the most part, which is my MAC Connect in Color. It is my palette that I'm using for my palette roulette. I think I will also pull in, because the two colors that I have not used, or the one color that I have not used in this palette is this one here. So I need blue. I'm not a fan of this blue, so I think I might pull in this palette also and use like something in this like corner here. I wouldn't mind mixing that blue, I think, with like one of these greens. Let's see what that looks like. So that's the blue. What if I mixed it with that green? I think that does look okay. Yeah, I think that looks okay. So we'll do that. That's what we'll do. Okay, so let's just start. Again, I'm not going to talk about the makeup so much. I did kind of give you the rundown what I was doing on my eyes, the Ulta Beauty primer. First and foremost, I would like to say thank you all for sticking around as you have, while I, do the thing and, not have the uploads going up like I typically have. It has been a relatively busy last like 6 weeks, and I know that I've missed several uploads between July and present, and some of those uploads being current week, right? I wanted to make sure I got the uploads that I knew needed to be uploaded, like my giveaway that's going on right now, and my project plans, and like the things that I do with my peers, like, the collab video that I did with Andy and Leanna. I want to make sure that those are absolutely going up when they need to go up, but the other stuff has just kind of fallen by the wayside, and there are reasons for that. I have a lot of like discoloration on my forehead right here. I think it's sun damage, but I was taking really good care of this and it didn't present itself so much, but then I went to Seattle and got sunburnt, so that might be part of the remnants of the sunburn, because my forehead is not typically orange like that. It's whatever. So that said, the rest of everything has just kind of fallen by the wayside because I've been busy. So I know I put up a video in May, I think it was, maybe early June, I can't remember at this point, talking about the secret that I had been keeping most of the year and how I had lost my job at Ulta. We were part of a mass layoff. 250 people on a 3-minute phone call, 250 plus people on a 3-minute phone call, learning that we no longer had a job was very traumatic, right? And so I went through a lot of like grief and self-reflection and trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. I mean, as you guys know, I just celebrated my birthday. I am 49 years old, and I have found that ageism is a thing. I really didn't think it ever was. That brush is shedding. That's disappointing. I really didn't think it was until I kind of experienced it over and over and over again. And while I think that some companies, I said I was going to do a simple look, and here we are with greens and blues. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. Right? It'll be okay. I think that some businesses do better, like, at masking the fact that they don't want to hire you when you're at a certain age. And some do not. Like, I don't know also what the job market looks like, but everywhere. But I know that the job market around here has been very, I don't know, there's a lot of people losing their jobs right now, and unfortunately, a lot of them are not like everyday mom and pop workers that can go to McDonald's or be a barista or work in a grocery store and make the kind of money that they're used to making. Like, I was a field leader for Ulta. Like, I needed a substantial wage and working. And that said, that's all I've ever done, really, is business analysis, business development, those kind of things, right? Not that I'm elevated, but I am, educationally, I am trained to do those kind of jobs, business administration, accounting, finance, analysis kind of positions, right? And unfortunately, as companies were doing mass layoffs, a lot of brick and mortar stores were closing, those were the kind of people that were also looking for a job. I mean, it just is what it is. The job situation has not been fantastic. So that puts you into a position where you really have to start thinking about what you're going to do. So I spent, a good portion of my time looking for jobs. And I did have some interviews, but those interviews would go positively nowhere. I think I was on the hook for one position for like 7 weeks. They had me going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with their hiring team. I was in interview after interview, and only to find out 7 weeks later, after 5 rounds of interviews, that they weren't going to hire me, which was fine. And this happened actually over and over and over again. There was also another position that I was in the running for a district manager position for Claire's, no less, which I am so thankful now that I didn't get/take that position, because I would just be in the same boat, right? Because Claire's shut down a lot of its stores. Now, I don't know if any of the stores were the ones that I would be operating within. I don't know if any of those doors were the ones that closed, but it's enough that they also close their doors, right? In many, many locations. So I'm glad that I didn't, whatever. But the truth of the matter is that I went through multiple interviews only to find out that part of the pay package for district managers was a car that you could use for travel, which is all fine and dandy, but I live in a housing development and literally have this much parking. Like, I have my driveway and my garage, but my garage is full of the love of my lives tools, and it's his like workshop, right? So my driveway is the only place that I can park cars, and I literally have no place to park a car. So that was a deal breaker for them. If I couldn't accept the car as part of my income, then I couldn't be a DM for them. which is fine. I have a lot of experience and have no doubt in my mind that I could do a lot of the jobs that I was applying for, or I wouldn't have applied for them, right? But long story short, I had so many interviews and nothing really panned out. I sent my resume out to probably close to 500 different locations. And it's hard right now where we're at. From an economy standpoint, from a workforce standpoint. So then you start to panic and you're like, holy moly, what am I going to do? I also think that at some point, maybe you guys know this, maybe I told you, my sister owns 2 businesses in the town that we're at. Well, owns 3 for the most part. They were 2 vintage locations, and one is a coffee shop inside of one of those vintage locations. And I had been helping her out from a business standpoint with the coffee shop. That's just not her niche. She doesn't know a lot about that kind of business. Doesn't have the passion for that kind of business. Doesn't love it. So I was helping her out from a financial standpoint. Again, that is my background. Business analysis, business development, accounting, finance. That is my background. So I was helping her out. And I had been doing that since March. Since before March, but like really in it since March. Because she just, it's not her niche. It's not her passion. I'm going to use this like copper color too. We're going to see how that pans out here. Oh, that's not fantastic. I mean, it's not horrible. I'm going to go to the dentist and he's going to be like, wow, that's interesting. In June, things came to a head and she just started, I don't know, like calling me more, talking to me more about some of the things. And then at one point said, if somebody would just buy it, I would just love that. I could wash my hands of it and that would be fantastic. And I said, well, like, for real? And she goes, yeah. And I said, okay, well, like, how much are you looking to get out of it? And she told me. And I said, well, I have that in my bank account right now. Do you want it? I'll buy it. And so I bought a coffee shop. So things have been kind of percolating, right? Because I've had to be down there doing some work prior to the whole transition of the dollars, transition of the stuff. We decided that the finalization day of transition was going to be September 1st. Through the middle of July, we were figuring this out. On July 20th, we announced it to the team. All of August, all of the rest of July and all of August, I spent in the cafe, like just building it up, getting familiar with the processes, getting familiar with the employees, like showing them, standards, some structure. I think really that's all that was missing for them was some structure and operational, maybe not standards, but like plans needed to be put in place. Controls need to be put into place. Inventory control, labor control, processes, right? So I did a lot of that through the month of August, and then we started to like really transition everything. And I fully took over ownership of this because all during August also I was working on getting my LLC and getting all the paperwork in place, getting my licenses, my insurance, and all the things. Talking to L&I, doing all the things that I needed to do to own a business, run a business, and hire employees. So that is what I did. In that process, I also learned of other adventures that my sister had been contemplating in the woodworks and with this coffee shop, and establishments that had asked for this coffee shop to be in their establishments as well. So I created this nice like 5-year plan, and know, what's going to be happening between now and January. And then as of January 1st, my plan is to add another coffee shop in one of the establishments that had been already networking with my sister, to put the coffee shop in their business. And then so January of 2026, I think it's February of 2027, I have another entity that would like this coffee shop in it. So in February of 2027, the plan is that we will have 3. And then by January of 2029, so 2 years later, because it's all going to move really quickly the next 3 years, by January of 2029, so 4 years from now, I want to have also a standalone, because all of my coffee shops will be in another entity at that point, and then I want to just move it out to stand on its own, in its own little building, right? Whether it be a drive up. I don't want it to be a drive up because right now it's I think that looks kind of cool. Right now it's an entity that is inside of another place, but it has its own seating area. So, I mean, it's this little like hometown like thing, right? And I want it to feel that way always, but I need to set myself up for success should those buildings not flourish or not work out in the way that I would need them to keep my coffee shop alive, right? So that said, I have this nice 5-year plan. 5 years from now, I would like to have 4 of my coffee shops in the city that I'm in, or surrounding areas, so that I have a nice little income that I'm not 100% needing to be there to earn. And so far, it's going really well. Now, I know it is September, so this is just month 1 of me owning this, so time will tell. We will see how everything comes to fruition, but I'm so excited. I'm so excited about it. Coffee has always been a passion of mine. It's coffee and makeup have always been my 2 passions. And if you guys have been around for a long time, you know that when I started this channel, I worked at Starbucks. I was a dual general manager for Starbucks, so I managed 2 locations, and the regional trainer. So I was the training store. People came to me to be trained to be a general manager. They came to me to be trained to be a barista. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing that job. Coffee has always been a passion of mine, so I do think that this is going to be amazing. I do think this is going to be amazing. But that is part of the reason why I have been so out of the mix, and why I haven't had videos go up, because I have been really hyper focused on getting the coffee shop platforms, the structure built in the way I wanted it to be built. Working a lot with the general manager there, working a lot with the employees there. I've been there like almost every day. I'm using NARS Light Reflecting Foundation that's in my Shop My Stash right now. And I am going to mix it with Too Faced, right? No, Polite Society, More Than a Pretty Face. My NARS is in Punjab, and my More Than a Pretty Face is in Fair. I just put on my Tula filter primer as my primer. getting all of them upright and doing all the things has been a joy. Working with the general manager has been a joy. I do think that, you know, there was a lot of lack of leadership going on in there, and not for lack of trying. I do think that, you know, again, I'm going to say, like, my sister's passion was never really coffee. It never has been coffee. And she also had 3 businesses. So it just wasn't, it was too time consuming for what she had available to give. And it's funny because she and I have had multiple conversations about this over the last several months, right? And she's like, she's a real, like, spiritual person, a real, you know, a godly person. And did I just put the wrong color of that on me? And she's like, you know, I've prayed a lot about it, and I feel like this was never mine to keep. This was mine to hold for you for when you were ready. And honestly, like, the timing was just right. It was just right. I had lost my job. I had been helping her out. She was at her wit's end with it. She's in a place where, you know, she needs to spend more time focusing on herself right now. And the timing was right. Like, I have never, not one time ever, have I ever said, I want to be a business owner. Never. But the way it all worked out, and the need for my sister to have that reprieve, like, I saw, my sister has some health things going on too, and she's just in a moment in her life, you know, a season of life where she needs to really focus on taking care of her, and her other business is running really well. For the most part, can't complain, right? But this one just wasn't, and it needed somebody who could hard focus on it, and she just can't, right? So this season, it was the time. It was the time. So she was like, I feel like I was just holding on to it for you. And that's really what it's felt like. And it has been a joy to be in there and just watch some of the things flourish. I think that the general manager and myself have a really good, you know, understanding of each other. And I feel like everything is the way it's supposed to be, the way it was supposed to be. And I don't know, I feel some kind of satisfaction in the fact that I don't really have to worry about a job and whether it's going to be there in, you know, 2 days or 4 days or 2 years. You know, it's mine, and I can do what I want to with it. So there's that. But never in a billion years did I ever anticipate I would ever be a business owner. That's never something I ever wanted, but it's also been super rewarding at the same time. So I don't know. It's been a lot of fun. So anyways, that has consumed a lot of my time. And while I want to be here with you as much as possible, or even as much as I had been, it's been also kind of difficult because I need to make sure that my business is taken care of as well. In order to set the standards or put standards in place, I needed to understand what was going on. So that is a part of why I have been gone. And I hope you guys understand. I think that you probably do. So that said, I will potentially be going back into the workforce in a corporate job, because I love corporate jobs, but I also know that I have this business to run, and that comes first right now. So that's where I'm at. We are existing off of currently the little bit of money that might be coming in from my coffee shop, and the love of my life, his money, and he's paying for insurance. And let me just tell you something. His insurance, I never knew how great the insurance was at Ulta Beauty until I didn't have it anymore. And instead we have his, and his is not fantastic, to say the least. Although their dental is really good, and I'm finding that out a lot lately, because that's another one of the reasons why I've been gone a lot lately. Is a couple weeks ago, woke up to what felt like I had, like, you know how when you're eating chips and you maybe scratch your gums or something like that and it kind of hurts a little bit? Well, I woke up to that feeling and just didn't think anything of it. It was uncomfortable, but it wasn't awful, right? And the next day, I woke up and there was like a bubble there. And I thought, okay, well, maybe I didn't scratch it. Maybe I burnt it. I've never had this problem before, so that's just really what I thought it was. It was like that for a couple of days. And then by the end, so this was like a Monday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday, Thursday, I woke up and everything was fine. And the bubble was still there, but there was no pain or anything until Thursday afternoon, when I thought my mouth was going to be the death of me. Like, I literally did not eat Thursday morning, and by the time the afternoon rolled around when I would be eating lunch or something, I was in so much pain, it wasn't even funny. So I, of course, called the dentist and tried to get an emergency appointment with the dentist, which didn't really pan out a whole hell of a lot. In that moment, it was late. It was like 6 o'clock. My dentist office, or the dentist office that I was trying to get in contact with, was open until 7, but nobody answered the phone. Nobody called me back after I left a message. So the next morning they opened at 7:30. I waited until 8 o'clock for somebody to call me back. Nobody did. So then I called them again. And when I called them, I said, hey, this is what's going on. I'm not sure, I heard that you guys do emergency appointments. They weren't my dentist at that moment. So I just was trying to make sure everything was good. And they're like, well, yeah, but we only do them if we have the room. Today we don't have room. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But do you know of another place, another dental office that can do it? Because I'm in so much pain. I haven't eaten in 24 hours and it's Friday. And they're like, pause. Let me go check a couple things out. And so they came back to the phone and they're like, we can see you today at 11. And I'm like, amazing. Thank you so much. So they squeezed me in, which I cannot be more grateful for. I have dental anxiety, so I was terrified to go in, but knew I needed to go in to figure it out because I just wasn't eating, like I said. I get to the dentist's office and lo and behold, I have an abscess in my very last molar on the bottom. And I just to let you all know, I have periodontal disease. I was diagnosed with it very, very young. It runs very rampant in my family. Most of the people on my mom's side of the family have no teeth, have dentures. My grandma had all of her teeth pulled by the time she was 14. And I know that that is a thing, just of her age group, right? But I have cousins that are younger than me that don't have their teeth just because we have horrible teeth. And I have it from both sides. My mom's side and my dad's side both have horrible genetics as far as teeth goes. So I'm lucky. I have all of my teeth and they're natural. They're my natural teeth until now. Because these two molars, the abscess had gotten so bad that they couldn't save the tooth, with the abscess being as bad as it was and the bone loss back there being as bad as it was. I had to have these two back molars pulled. And that was traumatic, but I guess it had to happen. So I walked in there at 11 o'clock. It took 2 hours to pull my teeth because one of them held on for dear life. And I was like, it doesn't want to come out. It wants to stay. And they're like, it can't. So there's that. So I had 2 teeth extracted, emergency like. So now I have no molars down here, and I'm waiting for my implants to come in to implant them. Well, then last week I went in to get them checked, and they're like, yeah, they're healing really nicely. Let's get you a deep cleaning. So I did a deep cleaning after x-rays that said that I might lose 4 more teeth. These 2 here and my 2 front teeth. Now I'm being very vulnerable with you guys. I don't like the thought process of losing my front teeth. So I started crying. My dentist is like, we will make sure that you're not toothless, Magoo, going out on the street with your 2 front teeth gone. I just have really bad teeth. I take care of them. I brush them twice a day. I floss. I have a water pick. And it just sometimes comes down to genetics. And I, like I said, was diagnosed with periodontal disease very, very young. So I have bone loss. I have a lactose intolerance, so I don't drink a whole lot of things that would normally help with combating bone loss, like calcium. So I take a calcium pill, but that's obviously, or a calcium supplement, but that's obviously not doing it, right? The good news is that when I went in for the deep cleaning, the hygienist was like, I think that you'll be fine as long as you continue to come in. And because that's the true tea of it all, is I had regular dental care until 2 years ago when we moved here. And then I was just so busy that I didn't find a dentist. So I went 2 years without seeing a dentist, which is gross, I know, but I'm not going to lie to you guys about it. But the hygienist was like, as long as you keep coming in here and we keep, working at this, she goes, your teeth are really rooted. So I don't see any reason why you couldn't keep your teeth. I don't see any reason why you would need to lose them. Now, sometimes stuff happens and you just do need to lose them, right? I mean, it happens. But the reason why he was concerned is because they're pretty mobile in there. Because of my dumbass not going to see the dentist like I should have been, or not taking the time for me like I should have been, and my periodontal disease, the bone loss was pretty significant and they were pretty mobile. But he said there was a chance that once we cleaned up under the gums and continued to do that, then I may be able to keep my teeth. So that's what I'm hoping. I'm planning on not cutting any of this tooth jargon out, because the bottom line is, one of the biggest reasons why I'm so happy that I am able to do things like purchase a coffee shop, which I did without taking out a loan, by the way. So I'm not in debt for it. Like, everything is, I'm not in debt, which is amazing. But one of the biggest reasons why I'm so happy that was able to be worked out and that we are doing this is because I did not put myself first at all. My health was always secondary to making sure that I was there for my job. And nobody is worth, no entity is worth you putting yourself last. And owning my own business makes it possible for me to do what I need to do for myself, and also feel like I'm taking care of myself, but also know that I'm taking care of my business, right? And I can do those things because I don't have a job anymore that's going to make me feel some sort of way because I had to take, a week off to get my teeth fixed, or because I had to take some time off for health reasons. And yes, well, we all sit around and say, my job doesn't do that. I would say that about Ulta too. I would say that about Starbucks. I would say that about just about anywhere. But I do know that when it comes down to it, I would work the job I needed to work and do the thing that I needed to do, because inadvertently, it was always a mess when you came back, or you felt gaslit for taking time off. And that's not like, maybe it's not like my boss that was doing that, but the job overall made it feel nearly impossible most of the time. So what I have vowed is that I am never going to not take care of myself again, and owning my own business, I think, makes it possible for me to not feel guilty about taking care of myself and doing the things that I know I need to do, because if I need to take time off, the only person that I'm harming or getting in the way of is myself, I guess. Does that make any sense? Anyways, so those are the two reasons why I have been kind of MIA, you guys. I have bought a business and I have had a lot of dental work over the last several weeks, and it's made it kind of impossible to have as many, what is the saying, sticks in the fire, or whatever the saying is. It's made it really impossible to kind of be creative, which kind of sucks because I do miss it. I miss you guys so much. That said, I need to change my battery. I changed my battery, flipped my hair, putting on mascara. I think this mascara is done for. It's been open for quite some time now, and it's just getting super dry. In other news, last week, I went outside, standing on my front porch with the love of my life, and this little car drove down our neighborhood. Like I said, I live in a housing development. We live on a cul-de-sac. There's one way into my housing development and one way out. Like, there's no outlet. So usually cars that are in here because they know that there's no outlet and they belong, right? I don't think I've ever felt more safe in my life until I lived in this housing development. That said, this little car driving down the road past my house, didn't think anything of it. It gets down to the cul-de-sac and you hear this girl scream, and then you see the lights of the car up in the trees. The car jumped a curb and ran into my neighbor's house. Forgot to turn back on my audio. Ran into my neighbor's house. WTF. It was like 11:30 at night or 10:30 at night, something like that. They have a small child and they were all in bed. So thank God, because their bedrooms were upstairs and this was their first floor, but ran into their house. And I'm just standing there looking. The love of my life ran inside to grab his shoes so that he could go, because there was a girl screaming. So we thought somebody got hit, or they hit something, right, besides the house. And so he ran inside to get his shoes. Well, while he was inside getting his shoes, 4 kids jumped out of this car and took off running. Hit and run by 4 kids into my neighbor's house. Holy poop. So me, dumb, didn't take video of it, but I did call 911. But what I have learned about myself is, in a panic, I don't know anything. I know nothing. The 911 operator is like, and what is the address of your emergency? And I'm like, I don't know. What is the name of this road? I had to scream at the love of my life, who was then at the house that they ran into, and ask him what the name of our road was. I've lived here for 2.5 years now at this point. How does that happen? How do, in a panic, you forget everything? Lord knows. So, what do we think of the makeup? I think it looks good. And listen, I got done in a record time. This crazy eye look didn't take me very long at all. I've used now all of the shades in my MAC Connected color. And guess what? I've also finished this off. Spoiler. This is a palette in my deck of panning, so I'll be excited to share that with y'all. So yeah, that's what's happening in my life. I hope that it hasn't put too many people off that, you know, I've been MIA quite a bit this last month. I do apologize for that, but I do hope that you guys understand also. It's a very exciting time right now, and also very stressful. And while this is my anxiety killer, right? This is what I do to curb my anxiety. I just have not had the time to do it, and that breaks my heart. But I love you guys so much, and I hope that you'll stick around with me, knowing that there might be an occasional video upload that I miss. I'm hoping, however, that I can get back into a place where I am, uploaded, or I have a bank of videos to edit, because that's where I was prior to losing my job. And then when I lost my job, it wasn't as important, so I didn't like bulk film in the way I was bulk filming when I had my job. And now I need to get back into a place where I'm doing that. But I do hope that you guys understand. I hope that you guys are just as excited as I am, and I just thank you guys for being here. Don't forget that I have a giveaway going on throughout the month of September. I pull the winner live on camera around the 1st of October. And I would love for you guys to be a part of it. The rules and all the things are in that giveaway, including me walking through all the items that I have in the giveaway. So please go back there. I'll have it up in the cards for you. Please go watch the video. If you have not taken part of the giveaway, I would love for you to join in, especially if you're a subscriber that has, been around for a long time, you guys. I'm only here because you guys are watching. I'm trying to hit 2K this year. We're super, super duper close. And I know that we can make it, but if we don't, that's fine too. I know that there's been some consistency issues on my part lately. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. Let me know what you think about the makeup look. I appreciate every single one of you for being here. And let me know what you think of my latest adventures. That would be awesome. I hope that you guys are well. I hope that everybody is safe and healthy and getting along as best that you can. I hope that you are all loving each other, being kind humans, and living your best life. And until next time, bye friends.